If you have any doubt that Donald Trump, the autocrat, Donald Trump,
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show, an important show today. I completely scrapped what I was going to do before because of what occurred with Senator Alex Padilla. We need to cover that, and we need to go over that in detail. We need to go over that in detail. I ran and wrote an article rather quickly about it as well because this is serious and it has to be handled yesterday. It has to be handled yesterday. Oh, wait a minute. There's some issue here. Bear with me 1 second as I correct I need to correct one link here. Apparently, one of our links, and I'm coming to salute everybody in a minute. Bear with me, guys, for 1 second as I fix an important feature here. Bear with me. I will be getting on with the show quickly, but I must correct an issue. There we go. Okay, there we go. It seems like it's okay now. Let's go ahead and save this baby off. Get out of there. All right, come back here. Bear with me, folks. Everything is just kind of happening right away, so that's the reason for some of our delay. And I think we should be okay now. I think we're going to be okay now. All right, folks. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. AVQ, number one in the house today from Brooklyn, New York. Michael Rudnin, number two in the house. Patrick Magner, welcome aboard. Meow from Houston, Texas. And we also have Yvette Avery Herod coming in on the third spot from Atlanta, Georgia, in the house with us, as well as Bruce Pollard from Kingwood, Texas. He's in Kingwood today, no longer in Tampa. We have Jay Ray, says he coming in with a roar from Houston, Texas. We have Lisa Blair coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. And let's see what else we've got here. Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas in the chat. We have Adam W. says, good afternoon, Egberto. Adam from Pennsylvania, Rich Stone, and 5 others join. Rebecca, how are you doing as well? Folks, got a lot to discuss. Let's go. Politico. Mandani surges in new poll. Whoa. Let me go before that. He says, NBC, Elon Musk says he now regrets some of his social media posts about Trump after fallout. Musk said on X that some of his online messages about president went too far. Do you have any regrets about the AIDS cuts that resulted in food poisoning, in fruit rotten, in warehouses, which led to 300,000 deaths? I don't think so. There has not been a single American throughout our nation's history with your body count. Well, we can have that. Is debatable because I put the 1 million dead Americans for the pandemic on Donald Trump. So I think that's debatable right there, my dear brother Rudnin. Citation from Times: Doge cuts the USAID, blame for 300,000 deaths, most of them children. Politico: Mandani surges in new poll, leading Cuomo for first time in New York mayoral race. The former governor has topped every voter survey since entering the race, but the Democratic Socialist is gaining on him. Public policy polls found Mandani beating Cuomo 35-31. I'll take whatever good news I can find, even as neoliberal rags or something are seething over this, refusing to mention the key position of rent freezes, which are extremely popular. We got to remember that. You see, he's a democratic socialist, and again, people are getting scared. People are getting scared that stuff may really start to happen. Stuff may really start to happen. Anyway, folks, just checking. Just checking for here. What else have we got here? Photos. Protests against immigration raids continuing to spread across the U.S. If ICE can deport someone you believe to be a migrant without due process, without a trial to determine whether you're a citizen or a migrant, ICE can deport anyone. And once you're out, you're made stateless and put in peril. And if you don't know where you're at, or if they lock you up, who will know? Again, and again, that people sit down and think that can't happen to me. Look, I've been in the United States for several years now, decades, as a naturalized American citizen. And do you think that with my accent, I don't get concerned that ICE hears an accent and picks me up and throw me out, knowing exactly who I am for real, but making believe that they don't, like Noam did with Senator Padilla today? Look, this is some serious stuff we're going through. Welcome aboard, Jane, Rennie Blake, Barbara Shervis, Maria Ray. Welcome aboard, Char, Terry, Mary Lockhart, etc., etc., etc. How are you guys doing? Great to have you here, my brothers and sisters. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side. First, let's go ahead and first show you the takedown. I'm going to put it in two different directions. Let's show you the takedown, and then we'll take it from there. Watch this keenly. If you have any doubt that Donald Trump, the autocrat, Donald Trump, the thug, the felon, Donald Trump, sits on top of a Gestapo that is out there doing illegal arrests, the way they manhandled this U.S. senator, this Latino U.S. senator. Take a look at this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
and they'll see, sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to
Hands off.
specifically how many of our ICE citizens have been docked.
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you don't my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here, correct?
This must not be tolerated. This is America. As a foreigner, naturalized United States citizen, this is not what we are expected to see in the United States of America. This is a senator, just like a few weeks ago, a congresswoman was arrested and indicted. This is an attempt to silence the opposition. This is an attempt to get the autocratic state, the fascist state, on notice. This must not be tolerated. Americans, you cannot tolerate it. You must stop it before it cauterizes. This is what fascism looks like. That is how autocrats operate. And Christy Nomad, I have the cut, but things are happening so fast, I couldn't get a chance to get the cut of Christy Nome's response, claiming nobody knew who she was or who he was. Nobody knew who Senator Alex Padilla was. Alex Padilla is on the immigration subcommittee. How can she not know who Alex Padilla is? We thought it was somebody coming in to attack the secretary. People, these thugs, the same thing they did with LaMonica McIver. Now they have her indicted on 3 counts, right? She's defending herself against these autocratic DHS ICE thugs, which is what they are, the Gestapo. That's what we're looking at, people. That is what we're looking at. And if they can do that to a senator, what can they do to you? They're what they're doing in California. I want to show you a picture of California, of downtown LA, because this is all a farce. This is all a farce. I played this last night. I want you to see this. What you're looking at right now, that little dot that says downtown LA, that is the 4 square blocks where protests are occurring. Every night, that place in the middle, that cutout in the middle, is a 1 square mile area that they say, you know what? We are going to put a what do you call it? A curfew on that particular area. But what we are looking at, LA, is 500 square miles, a little over 500 square miles. Less than 4 blocks, 1% of a square mile, not even a square mile, 1% of a square mile is where protests are occurring. And to handle that protest, they sent in Donald Trump 4,000 National Guards, above and beyond the hundreds of police officers from LAPD, the hundreds of police officers from LA County. They've sent in 700 Marines. They are trying to create and make an example. This is not, I don't even see this in Panama. I'm from Central America. I'm from where we have the police have a lot more, they're much more violent than they are. Well, not really, because you see how cops handle people of color here, not the reality. But we have to stop this at we have to nip this right away. First of all, we have to keep the protests in every single corner. They cannot stop the protests if it's occurring in every single corner of this United States of America, which we're going to start to see over 1,800 of them on Saturday. But we cannot allow this to stand. That is a U.S. senator. That is a U.S. senator. What do you think happens to any one of you that's listening to this? What do you think happens to you? Come on, folks. We have to get real. Orion says ICE has been trying to deport Native Americans up here in Montana. Yes. They don't even know the difference between a Native American and somebody that is, that's what they think, right? Adam, come on in. How you doing, Adam? Adam, you're on. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get to Adam. I think we have Adam on. Okay, there we go again. Okay, Adam, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. How you doing?
All right. Hey, it's great to finally speak with you. I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
My pleasure, my friend. What do you think about what's going on with Alex Padilla?
Oh man. You know that graphic you just put up, right? What concerned me most about that is, yes, the mainstream media is definitely, without a doubt, exaggerating the scope of what's going on, and Trump is stealing the headlines, as you spoke about last night. But that reminded me of that first red dot that went up around Seattle when COVID came to the United States, and how it just spread out from there. And my greatest concern is, how long is the American public, how long are the people going to sit back and act as though we are not under the rule of a dictator right now?
Well, I think, believe it or not, I think they hurt their cause with what they did with Padilla, because this occurred on a big screen. This occurred, and now that it shows that if this can happen to a U.S. senator, no one is safe if we tolerate this kind of behavior. So I think what this does is, when we talk about fascism a lot, Adam, we've been talking about fascism and Trump is a fascist and all of that, right? But all we've seen is they've attacked some protesters, and the excuse that could be used is those are protesters. The reason this has blown up this way is now we can't just look at protesters. We have Padilla in an office saying, I am a U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. And it didn't matter.
Right.
Those animals, and we don't call them, those are animals who roughed him up the way they did. Those are thugs. Those are animals who roughed him up. You saw how they threw him down to the ground, and even as he says, "How can I move my hands if you have it holding down?" And then you have another one of the animals saying, "Well, they're taping. It's not supposed to be live," because they didn't realize that they had an independent live camera watching them there, and it got out when it should not have gotten out. They were shocked about this.
And if I remember correctly, didn't Senator Padilla suffer a stroke about 1.5 years, 2 years ago?
Yes.
Was that Senator Padilla? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Just the stress of what they put him through today. This reminds me of something that you would say.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Adam. Michael, let me connect all these calls. How you doing, Michael? Michael, you're on as well. Let's hold on. Michael, hold on. Let's let Adam finish his conversation, and then I'll bring you in.
I just quickly wanted to say, that in our sphere, the people that are on Substack, the people that are politically engaged, we feel as though we're that much more powerful than we really are when the average American is just not paying attention to this. And what kind of frightens me, and I certainly hope that this pattern breaks sometime soon, is something that you or Tom Hartman would have reference to, is that life in East Germany under the Stasi was completely normal for people that were apolitical.
Right.
You know, life went on. People went to movies. People went to, whatever it was. As long as you did not say a thing against your government, life went on while others were being politically persecuted, imprisoned, watched. And I just pray that we don't end up in a situation like that.
Let me tell
where
you,
this country learns to unify.
Right. You mentioned something about us being on Substack, right? One of the things that I try to do with this platform is that it's not, I don't keep this only to Substack and articles on Substack. I make sure and clip this all the way through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Live, TikTok. And we also, like tomorrow, we'll also be going into, we have actual flesh to flesh meeting. In other words, it's not just online. And I don't just sit behind this camera and do stuff. We're today, if it weren't for the storm, we would have been out there in the streets in front of my congressman's office, Dan Crenshaw. Just like today, Neil Aquino, who is on with me in the mornings, he's out there at Senator Cornyn's office. But we have to replicate this absolutely in every corner of the United States. And that's what we have to do. Eventually, they'll become aware. According to, I don't remember the name of the activist, it's between 3 to 6%. We need to get 3 to 6% of people aware and engage. And that's our fight right now, Adam.
Yeah, I remember the number, and sorry to interrupt. I think it was 12 to 15 million taking to the streets.
Exactly.
Would be enough to, in some way, squash a government that is looking to, find itself from democracy to fascism.
And given what's starting to happen, we can get there. But we have to, again, we got to mobilize. And I think, I'm starting to smell some good things. I'm getting some undertones right now that it seems like it's happening. But anyway, anything else you want to add, Adam, before we go to Michael?
No, I definitely thank you for having me on your show, Egberto. God bless you and your audience, and I wish everyone the best. And thank you for having me on. You take care and try to have a nice day, or at least as best of one as you can. So
thank you kindly, my brother. Thank you kindly. All right, let's see who somebody just came in. Is this Michael who came in again? Did you hang up or what? Michael, you're on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I hung up for a minute so I can listen. I have a concern. Because in Texas we have a governor that's like a puppet.
Yes.
And this puppet governor that we have he just issued 5,000, I call them stormtroopers, National Guardsmen, for this weekend. 5,000 in the state of Texas. For what? I mean, what is this country coming to? We're not barely 200 days into this regime. What's becoming of our country?
Brother, let me tell you this.
Of our country?
I am as you well know, I am originally from Panama. We had, before Omar Torrijos Herrera, which was our dictator, it turned out he was a benevolent dictator. We had Arnulfo Arias and many others who really had power over our military police, and the military police had no problem cracking people's skulls. Those of us who know about America, who read about America, in as much as we understood America as a genocidal country during its inception, not now, but during its inception, as much as we knew about all the bad things America did, we also learned about the atonement that was occurring. When those of us moved over to the country, the last thing we expected is a backslide into what I call a backslide into evil. But that is exactly, if we don't mitigate it now, where it's at. And you mentioned about the 5,000 troops, Michael. Those 5,000 troops, in as much as, I kind of smirk at the 5,000 troops.
They have no training. They
Right.
have no training. They
Right.
have no idea of the people. And there's always been peaceful demonstrations. I've done sit-ins. I've done a lot of things to help the workers in downtown that clean up offices. Okay, that's beyond the point, you know. But there was no warning sign. There's nothing. There's nothing. You're going to bring out these people who don't know what the heck is going on. You know, I think what this regime is doing is speaking more to rural areas that have some issue with city folks and blue cities.
Let me tell you what's
and I'm
interesting.
going to leave it at that and let you comment on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. We'll talk. You listen to. I have a big answer for that, so I'll talk. Keep on listening. Call back if you need to, and likewise, anybody that needs to call in. Michael hit on something very important there. The idea is when a lot of the rural areas that don't have a lot of contact with a whole lot of people, when they see Padilla down, when they see the militarized LA, in as much as it's less than 1 square mile, when they see all of that, the hate that they have put into many Americans via Fox News, OAN, via Newsmax, via their many podcasts, right wing AM radios. They have programmed their people into believing we are monsters. That's why when I spoke to this right winger in Starbucks and I explained a few things to her, and she was loving what I was saying, and she was into all the progressive stuff I was talking about when she thought I was a Republican dude. She was eating progressive stuff up. Wouldn't it be nice if we did that? Wouldn't it be nice if we did? And she was, yes, I described Medicare for all. She loved it. I described health care for kids. She loved it. Everything that progressives like, she loved it. I started to feel guilty. I said, ma'am, I want you to know that I am a liberal. I'm a progressive, likely the most progressive person you've ever spoken to. I'm a pinko liberal. And she looked at me and she said, my God, she turned red like a cherry and said, you are so nice. Like, how could it be? You are so nice. Michael, you're correct. The idea is for now, and this is important for all of you to understand. And if you have friends in rural areas, etc., this is something we got to get into the heads, right? If you have friends in rural area, this is like ice cream to them. Watching the takedown of Padilla was great. Watching the manhandling of protesters in that 4 square blocks in Los Angeles was great. Right? That is going to hold on to them for now. As the big bad bill gets passed, and we're talking about this, right? We're talking about Padilla. The one thing they made a mistake of is if a senator can go down like that, others can as well. But we're talking about Padilla. We're talking about the LA protests as the big bad bill is getting done. But guess what? The big bad bill, Michael and everybody else listening to me, harms MAGA more than it harms anybody in blue areas or blue states. It harms people in Brenham more so than it harms people in Houston. It harms people more in Timbuktu, Wisconsin, more than it harms people in Madison, Wisconsin. It harms people in Timbuktu, New York, more so than it harms people in Brooklyn, New York, or Long Island, New York, or Detroit, Michigan. And why is that? Because the things that it's going to kill, the hospitals that it's going to close, the food stamps that it's going to get rid of, the SNAP programs. These people don't have big food banks like you have in Houston, Texas. They don't have big food banks like you have in Brooklyn, New York. You don't have big food banks like you have in Madison, Wisconsin. So all of these MAGA that's screwing themselves, that are going to lose their jobs and that are going to depend on on food banks, are going to depend on doctors, going to depend on hospitals. Now they are going to have to go into those blue cities for support. They're going to have to watch all those people that they thought they hated. Give them bread. Give them canned goods. They're going to have to go into those hospitals with all those people that they consider others, that are going to draw their blood, that are going to give them the health care, check their hearts. And they don't get it. And when that happens, the MAGA is going to go bat, you know what, crazy. And brothers and sisters, I don't know what to expect when they realize that they've been had. Because unlike a lot of us liberals and progressives who don't think that the size of our private parts are dependent on the gun size that we have, these guys are loaded with guns. So what's going to happen? And you know what? They're not going to be coming after us, because they're going to realize then it was never us. It was always the politicians making fun of them. And then guess what else we are going to do? We are going to then release all those videos that we show that with Donald Trump saying, I love stupid people. We're going to show the videos of Mike Johnson saying, all those people that are taken off of SNAP deserve to be off of SNAP. All those people that are dropped from Medicaid deserve to be dropped from Medicaid. We have all those videos that are queued up. So they're going to see who's at fault. They're going to see it. And it won't have to be us doing it. Their own people are going to be doing it. Just like many have started to do it on TikTok, on Instagram, and other places. That's why Donald Trump's rate is down to 38%. It's only the crazy indoctrinated folks that need to hold on to something. They need to hold on. They just can't believe they were screwed by their own. They just can't believe it, that they were screwed by the orange man. So they're going to hold on, and they're going to believe the lies that Fox News is continuing to tell them, even as they see otherwise. Let me show you once again, folks. Once again, this is a different version of the takedown that I want to give you, and then we'll come right back. Donald Trump is playing with fire. The ICE animals and their proteges just pulled Senator Padilla, Democrat of California, as he approached Kristi Noem's press conference asking questions. They pulled him out like a common criminal, manhandling him and throwing him out of the room. This is a U.S. senator. You wonder if this would have been done if his name wasn't Padilla. They treated this guy with a disrespect that I don't think I've ever seen done with another senator before, just like they did with the congresswoman in New Jersey. They are trying to make a point. Donald Trump is trying to make a point. I want you to check out this sequence here, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I hear you have more information on that video we played of Senator Padilla at this Kristi Noem event. There is reporting now that he was, in fact, arrested outside the room.
It appears that he was arrested outside the room, Christina. I am now in possession of video that was taken from a different angle of this same incident. The video you showed earlier shows Senator Padilla being escorted out of the room and quickly ends thereafter. The video that I have seen shows that what happens when he goes into that hallway, he is further pushed into the hallway by somebody wearing an FBI shirt. He is then pushed onto the ground and placed under arrest with his hands behind his back as he is face down on the floor by 3 additional officers. Obviously, we don't have full information about the altercation that led him to be pushed out of the room by personnel either from the Department of Homeland Security or the FBI. But this is yet another escalation between the Department of Homeland Security and those agents working at their disposal and lawmakers. Obviously, LaMonica McIver, a congresswoman from New Jersey, has now been indicted on 3 federal charges for which she could face up to 18 years in prison in an altercation that started not dissimilarly from this. You know, one of the things I was looking for is whether or not Senator Padilla himself put his hands back on those who were involved in that altercation with him, as LaMonica McIver is alleged to have done. And you can see from the video you're showing right now somewhat that Senator Padilla is pushing back or has his hands on the officer. From the video that I have seen, it's much clearer. At some point, he then stops resisting, puts his hands up, and nonetheless, they push him down the hallway, put him face down, his hands behind his back. He's arrested. I don't know yet what has going to come of this and where Senator Padilla has been taken, but this is a big escalation.
Just witness here.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know the senator. He did not request a meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with him and visit and find out really what his concerns were. I think everybody in America would agree that that wasn't appropriate. That if you wanted to have a civil discussion, especially as a leader, a public official, that you would reach out and try to have a conversation. For instance, I have left voicemails for Governor Newsom wanting to have a conversation. Has he returned them? No, he hasn't. I know that the White House has reached out and had conversations with Mayor Bass as well. And so that's what you do to try to start these conversations and ask for partnerships. Unfortunately, we haven't met that in this area. I'll visit with the senator and find out really what his concerns are and what we can do.
This isn't normal. This is not right. And just speaking about it is not going to be enough. For all of you, all the smart folks that are listening to us, yes, we have got to keep the protests on very hard. But what we have to do is absolutely no Republican in any election, temporary election, marginal election, or whatever, must win. We cannot accept fascism. We cannot accept animals that are serving the public, because what you saw there is how one treats animals. That is what you saw in the video. A U.S. senator today, a congresswoman a few weeks ago, and all of them people of color. You have to wonder, what is the message of disrespect, of disregard that this administration is trying to put out? And it must not be allowed. And for those in power, Schumer and Jeffries, we should be hearing from them immediately. Not an hour down the road, not 2 hours down the road. Now, and there has to be actions for the way these people were treated, and those FBI or DHS or whatever type of officers that manhandled this guy must be fired. I don't know if you guys noticed something that really irked me when I saw how the reporter was talking about the incident, right? I don't know if you guys noticed it. Let's see if anybody's going to say it before I say it. Because I got upset the way she described what was occurring. Anybody heard what she said? Come on. I want to hear if anybody heard it. So I'm going to wait we have a slight delay. So I'm going to wait about 30 seconds more to see if you heard the reporter, one of the things that she said that should upset us all based on what we are seeing and what they are doing. Okay? What they are seeing and what they are doing. Let's see if anybody says it yet. Or anybody wants to call in and say it, because I'm going to say it in about 30 seconds. I did notice he put his hands against his chest, and she said he pushed the officer. He did not. That is true. But here's what got to me. She started to use police rhetoric. She started to use police rhetoric. How does police get away with shooting and killing people? Stop resisting. Stop resisting. The person may be doing absolutely nothing, and they say, stop resisting. Stop your resistance. Stop resisting. And that reporter picked up that same word. It didn't seem like he was resisting. The only thing that made her say he was not resisting was when he put his hands up like this to just make himself limp. But if he's trying to balance himself as they manhandle him, he is resistant. And she picked up on it. She picked up on using what those animals were using. Because that is the excuse they're going to use. He was resistant. He was not resistant. He was pointing out, I am a senator. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. They actually, I mean, look, when I tell, one of the reasons we need a media that can give the proper narrative, folks, why we have to be able to give the proper narrative is because even the press conference in real time, even, look, that's a good reporter. And she is adapting right-wing talking points. Even as he stopped resisting, he never resisted. Anytime, if my wife is in the kitchen and I go and I hold on to her to move her, the natural reaction of a human being is to balance. A human being, once you are held, your natural action is not to go limp and say, man handle me or woman handle me. The natural reaction of being held is to balance the hold. It's not resistance. And the only thing that they consider not resistance is going limp and say, do as you please with my body. Do as you please with my body. I am limp. You get it, folks? We can't fall into that. We can't fall into the narrative of the criminals. We cannot fall into narratives. You know, I tell Bruce Pollard, who is in the chat anymore, when I see cops, I run. I get away from cops. I don't care what they look like. And the reason why is because of the narrative that we have allowed to occur from these slave handlers. The narrative. And the reporter adapted it. Now that is in the transcripts now. After he stopped resisting. He never resisted. But it's in the transcripts now. And that is how we change reality. That is how we create an alternate state of reality. All right, folks, the telephone number is 281-823-7747. I have another subject, but I really don't want to go there. I'm going to ask you to read it. The other subject is Republicans trying to sell off public lands, your land. The land that you own, the land that may have mineral riches under it. They're trying to sell that off. I have the article linked in the blog. Anybody wants to give me a call at 281-823-7747. I'd like to hear your point of view if you have the wherewithal or want to do so. Michael, talk to me. What's up?
Yes, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you know what? I'm calling back. I don't like to be a two-time caller. I don't like to be a two-time.
Doesn't matter. Make your point, my brother.
The point is this. I have been arrested 3 times or more in my life. Okay? I've been held. And the point is, when it comes to resisting arrest, if you flex the muscle or if you resist in any way, that becomes a reason that they handle up on you. If, like you said, keeping your balance, keeping your distance, keeping you alive becomes a so-say threat to these people. You follow me?
Oh, I follow. Look, like I tell you, that's what I do. I mean,
anything you do will be conceived as some point of non-compliance.
Look, when I tell you the way these guys are trained, police officers are trained to be animals. They come at you, they shout. I mean, think about their thing. Move, do this, get it. I mean, they're animals. They are trained to be animals.
And it's crazy. And they are like on these go pills or whatever, because they wrought it up or whatever. A lot of them, not all of them. I don't want to say.
Oh, no. Hold on. Look, I have relatives that are officers. They are trained to be animals. I have relatives that are officers. They are trained to be animals. They are animal. Look, it doesn't matter what you say. When they get into that mode.
Doesn't matter what you say.
Right. When you get into that particular mode, when they get into that mode, they don't hear anything. Padilla said, I am Senator Padilla. No, they're not hearing anything. Move. You are resistant.
The last thing your body wants to do is fall on hot concrete.
Exactly.
Your body will naturally resist. And that to them is like, oh, that's a threat because I don't want to have my face on some hot concrete in 100-degree weather in the summer.
Exactly.
To bring this home, we are losing our nation. And like you said earlier, the people in the rural areas in Madisonville and all this, they're going to lose their hospitals. They're going to lose 911. They're going to lose the ambulance. They're going to lose the little grocery store.
Yeah.
They're going to lose it all for what? This fascist in office? And then blame the big city. They're going to blame everybody else except for Abbott and that imp devil in the White House.
Let me tell you a secret, and I've many of you have heard me tell this story before, but many of you have not. So I'm going to repeat this story. Hear me out here. I know, and I know a lot of folks don't like Obama because they don't think Obama went far enough, and I agree with that. Okay, but I do like the guy. I do like Obama because again he was the first step. But here's something that when I knew he was going to win, I want you to listen to this, and this is how I know people will change or not necessarily. They won't change. People will act in their best interest when pushed far enough. Check this out. I don't know if you remember in 2008, the crash. When the 2008 crash, people were in dire straits and suffering. What happened is Obama would have his canvassers all over the country, and this particular one occurred in Pennsylvania, in a very racist part of Pennsylvania. So they go up and they ask this family, and I don't know, they ask this woman at the door, who are they voting for? I don't know why she thought she had to ask her husband, but she turned around and she said, honey, who are we voting for? And then he turned around and said, let them know we're voting for the N guy. Okay? At that point, I knew Obama was going to win. Why? Because their prejudices was superseded by their personal economy. And that is where Donald Trump will fail. When people's personal economy supersedes their prejudice. Go ahead.
Mr. Host, I have a disagreement with you.
Sure, go ahead.
Why he will continue and Republicans will continue and these imp devils will come resurrected from their freaking wherever they come from is because of racism. That is the key that locks them all in.
My brother, I'm not.
Thank you for great show.
Here's what I said, though, my brother. Here's what I said. I want you to leave with this. I didn't say that that racism was being cured. What I said is that their personal economy, in other words, things are so bad, they're willing to hold back their racism, hold back their prejudice, maybe elect a woman.
They're not going to hold back racism.
No, I didn't say that.
Their bigotry is their root.
Okay.
I mean, that root goes down generations. They're not going to let go of that.
Let's talk a little bit later. I want to give others a chance to come in and
Take
chime in.
care.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Michael. All right. Anyway, folks, the telephone number is 281-823-7747. Anybody wants to call in, again, una vez más lo voy a repetir, 281-823-7747. Y si alguien que es de Latinoamérica o es de México o Suramérica quiere llamar, me puede llamar el 281-823-7747, porque también te puede hablar en español si quieren, si es lo que no se sienten suficientemente relajados para hablar el inglés. Please feel free to give me a call, even if you speak Spanish. This is something that covers a whole lot of you as well. So, llámame si quieren llamar. Anyway, folks, it's so much. This is so important, folks. This is so important. All right, one more time, 281-823-7747. Let me read some of the stuff. Obama could only go as far as people we elected would let him. Again, he's not a king. He wasn't pro-thanks. He's a king. I mean, look, and that's where I come down, Paul Fleming. I've said it before. Now, I wish there were times that he bent the arc a bit more, but I hear what you're saying there. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got here. We have, para ver, Steigen Bergen Creek says, all MAGAs are, no, I'm not going to read that one. I can't read that one, Steigen, but I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Let's see what else we got in the other chat. I did notice he put his hands against his chest, and she said he pushed the officer. He did not. Exactly. We also have Adam W. that says, how do we as people help stop the United States from advancing further into a fascist state? Dr. Brandy Lee and many others have warned of this man's malignant narcissism and how his mental illness would spill out onto his administration supporters. Let me tell you, and I stand by this, my brother Adam. I stand by this. I am not fearful. I am resolved. I don't want anybody listening to this program to be fearful. I want you to be resolved. We have agency. All right? We have agency. What does that mean? That means that everybody in the military right now, all those soldiers that are up in the military, they have a brother, a sister, a cousin, and they're not all MAGA. And all folks in the military as well aren't MAGA. So what we have to do is keep these conversations up. And if you have a relative that is a soldier, whether in the Marines, whether in the reserves or whatever, you have to be talking to them as well. You have to remind them that illegal orders need not be followed. You have to remind them that and if you have relatives that are cops as well, you have to remind these people of these issues. Remind them, because Donald Trump can only be as powerful as those who are willing to execute his illegal orders. He's only as powerful as those who are willing to commit crimes in his name. There are other things that we have to point these people out. While Donald Trump is immune to just about anything he does in office, the people that do it on his behalf, they are not immune. Some may say, well, he can pardon them. He can pardon them if and only if he remains in power. And my contention is that we have, a friend of mine, a friend of our show, a great supporter of the program as well, Norman, said yesterday he just feels this big thing about to happen. To which I said, I agree. A big thing is about to happen. But you know what? The outcome of that big thing happening is not etched in gold. It's up to us. So anybody that's listening to me right now that have concerns, Brother Adam, I'm specifically speaking to you as well, brother. All of you that have concerns, look, my concern is that those who have concern would be so fearful that they don't go out there and act. Let me give you a little short story. We are having here in Kingwood one of these No Kings rallies. And as many of the MAGA folks found out about this No Kings rally, which we weren't hiding, I advertised it on the radio, this No Kings rally, they started to put threats on Facebook and put threats in our local community boards internet boards, etc. And I got a call that said, "Hey, are we still going to have this? People are threatening." I said, "Of course we are. You know, we have a great organizer who's putting it all together. We will be there. If folks come, and we're going to completely disregard any of those thugs that come along. And we also have advised the FBI that there are some people who have threatened. So therefore, it is all there. Okay? So my contention is, folks, is we have to go out there and engage. You cannot sit back and just think somebody else is going to do it for you. You cannot. It is going to be done by you and your mother and your brother and your sister and your cousin. And you're going to have to make that phone call and say, look, we have to put our bodies out there. Look, Padilla put his body out there. We got to put our bodies out there. We've got to put our bodies out there, Adam. Don Bucker, we got to do it. Do you lie? We got to do it. Jane B. in North Carolina, we got to do it. The alfalfa male, we got to do it. Pamela R. Daniels, we got to do it. No holding back, brothers and sisters. No holding back. Patrick, you know we're going to do it. Patrick is my hero. And the haters in the chat, in this other chat, disregard them. They know not what they speak about. They will be waste for the administration. They will be sucking on the administration until the administration finally says, to hell with you. We never ever gave a damn about you anyway. We got to get there anyway, folks. And let me use this now as a segue into what we do here, because folks, for us to like I said, we'll be at the rally. I will be on WBAI New York tomorrow on Saturday at 4. We're gonna be doing so. WBAI in New York. I'll be on at 4 Pacifica Network out there. We're going to be on Pacifica all through around here. But we're doing the job, is what I'm saying. We're doing the job. Now let me just point this out. We do need your help. We do need your help. We do need your financial help. That's why you notice I always tell you, folks, please go ahead and support the program. You see all those books that are scrolling on the screen right now? You can read all our books that are politics, how to talk to your right-wing relatives, all that good stuff by becoming subscribers to our channel. If you go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, please consider becoming a supporter. This is a lot of work, and we are determined to do it. And I mean that from the depths of my heart. I am not stopping this. Someone have to blow a cap in my head to stop doing what we know has to get done. And I mean that. You know, you can ask, my wife would tell you that. So please support the program however you can. But the best way to support it is to become a paid subscriber of our newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Let me put it in both chats, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. We are going nowhere. We are going to be, you're going to see our stuff on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, Telegram, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live. You're going to see us in the field, out here in Kingwood, out in Houston, in person. We're going to be there everywhere. This is a full-time working is what we're talking about. And we are engaged to do it. So support us best you can, folks. We really need it. Personally, on my newsletter, I need about 581 new people subscribing. So if you can be a part of it and encourage others to be a part of it, I'll be so much more appreciative of that. So I'm going to put that in the chat one more time. politicsandright.com/newsletter, or I'll put it now. There's another way to support us, and that is through our Patreon, and that's politicsandright.com/Patreon. Choose whichever way you'd like to support us, but please support us in some form because we have to get this done. And we are at the cusp. There are two important things to think of. One, we need to stop the bill. We need to stop the big, bad, ugly bill. That's number one. And we stop that by doing what Neil Aquino is doing what our friend here in town is doing, Christina is doing. I mean, we have to be engaged. All of us are contacting these folks to try to stop the bill. If the bill squeaks through, we have to make sure, since the first part of it isn't going to hit for a year, we have to make sure that we go ahead and unelect every single Republican that we can and put progressives in office that will immediately reverse the damage created by the bill. So there are two steps. One, we got to stop the bill. If the bill squeaks through, we have to continue to work to make sure it can never be revived again. And that's our goal, folks. So that is what we intend to do. Thank you for being here. It's 4 o'clock. I got to get out. It's 4:01. I got to get out of here. Love you all. We're going to get this done. The one thing, don't be despaired. Don't be despaired. You have agency. They need you. They need you to think you don't have any options. They need you to believe that you have that you just have to accept it. You don't. We won't. Please remember that. We're going to be here. We will be here. Folks, please support the program, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know what? You guys know how I end this program. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.